And he'll go down as this drive will start at the 25-yard line. Out comes the offense for the Bills, led by their quarterback at 6'5". That's Josh Allen.
I remember when he came out of Wyoming, the big question mark, could he be accurate enough to be a star in the NFL? I think it's safe to say he's put all of us in our place and put those doubts to rest. He can roll out and run it. He can bomb it over your heads, everything in between. He's an absolute nightmare for defenses to try and prepare for. And when he's on, he's an MVP caliber player each and every time he takes the field.
Only a couple for him there on the game's first play, and it's second down.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defensive front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
And give him 6 yards here as he stopped near the 35 at the 34.
And I think this is a route we'll see more of as this game goes on, because with his speed, they want to get him the ball in space on drag routes just like this. They want him to get the ball and run after the catch. Good job there, though, holding him for a short gain.
Trying to pick it up on the ground with Harris. Oh, a heck of a move.
Man.
And out across midfield down to the 45. Well, they were in search of a short gain on third down, and they wind up nabbing over 20 yards.
Well, that's one of the main responsibilities of a safety in any defense. A long way downfield before he's able to corral him, but that's why you have him on the field, the last line of defense.
He made the play. I don't know if it'll be remembered. They're probably so mad that the run went for that long.
Wonder if they were thinking pass in that situation as opposed to run and being caught a little bit out of position. Fortunately, he was able to track him down.
So a 1st and 10 now in Denver territory at the 45-yard line. To the air, Allen. It's hauled in by Hardy. And he's got this down to the 35. A good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on those last 2 plays.
Well, coaches always talk about finding balance on offense. I don't think you can get much more balance than this. Big-time run. Big-time pass.
A 1-2 combination. Looked pretty good.
How about that? Let's see if they can continue to take that kind of a punch, though.
And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down. You were telling me this yesterday. This is exactly what they want to do on the opening drive, establish the ground game.
Yeah, remember our conversation? We were talking about what one of the GMs in the league has told me repeatedly. It's a big man's game, and it's not necessarily size. He's talking about playing some big boy football. Line up, get leverage, knock people back, and establish the run early.
Clock rolling as we hit the midway point of this first quarter. On first down, Allen. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. Good coverage downfield led to him taking off, picking up the first down on a 13-yard run.
Partner, there's a downside to everything, and the danger of man coverage is if you're locking down your target, you often turn your back to the quarterback and you don't see him. Sometimes you open up a big lane for him to hit you for big yardage, and that was an astute play by him to scramble out, see that lane, and burn them for a first down.
First and goal, a chance for an early statement here on the road. Harris running straight ahead. Only about a yard there as he takes it from the 9 to the 8.
Here's where we need to see some tenacity from this defense, because they've been pushed right down the field on this opening drive. They've got to find some way to push back, and that's a good first step.
Here's second and goal, operating from the 8-yard line. And now they'll throw with Allen. And he'll slide to a halt here, still a little shy of the first down marker. He'll wind up getting 4 there on his own, but it will leave him now with a third down situation.
I certainly like what he did right there, because he smartly wanted to avoid forcing anything downfield because nothing appeared to be open. Nice harmless slide there to avoid the big hit, and he gets a small gain on the play.
Meanwhile, on third down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete.
What an excellent defensive stand there in the red zone. Nice tight coverage. They certainly recognized how important it was to bring up fourth down here.
So on fourth down, off goes Allen. On comes Tyler Bass for the Buffalo field goal. From the left hash, a chip shot here. And it's a fake. He's going to throw it. The fake field goal catches everyone by surprise. And the Bills' decision to go for it pays off with 6 points. And you don't see the fake field goal often. Here it works for a touchdown.
And sometimes you see it called in the biggest stages. How about a couple of years ago, Packers-Seahawks, and the Seahawks trying to rally? Fake field goal helped them win it and go to the Super Bowl.
Tyler Bass on for the extra point attempt. Boy, these may be an adventure this afternoon, but this one is good. So the drive goes 75 yards, 10 plays, and it culminates in a Bills touchdown. After the touchdown, Bass to kick it away. Taken at the goal line. And they'll get him down right at the 25-yard line, so the same result, and he opted for the touchback. So here are the Broncos now for their opening drive. They're led onto the field by their quarterback, a man who's made quite the name for himself in the NFL, and that's Russell Wilson.
And similar to his nickname, Russell Wilson has a dangerous mix of skills, the ability to throw from the pocket and extend plays and throw on the run. Not to mention an absolute winner. Usually has his team in the playoffs competing for Super Bowl opportunities.
Flushed out right. And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. And they work this well upfield across the 45.
Much like a running back going through the line, quarterbacks have to be aware of protecting the football as well. He left it exposed that time, wound up having it knocked free, but fortunately, had an alert teammate who was able to get it.
They'll throw on first down with Wilson. And that one is incomplete. And it also concludes quarter number one. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Second quarter about to begin from Denver. It's the Broncos in possession of the football as they've got it with a 2nd and 10. To throw is Wilson. Got an open man here, and it's K.J. Hamler. Well, he's got to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. Give him 14 yards there and a Denver first down.
People worry about throwing the out route because often it can get jumped, and that can turn into either an incompletion or an interception. But not on that one. Everything came together, and he catches it and goes over the sideline.
They'll run it for the first time with Williams. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
Sometimes you just sit back and marvel at what he can do defensively. Speed, strength, quickness, he's the whole package. And that package just wrapped up the runner for a loss.
Now they contend with a 2nd and 12 after the loss. Here's Wilson. Man open. He's got it complete to Cortland Sutton. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield. for a deeper route and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
They'll try and run for it. Here's Williams. And he's going to get the first down as they bring him down at the 23. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains.
Plenty of things to talk about here, partner, but to me, their defense gave up a touchdown on the first drive. How about how they're responding, coming back? That's a big third down pickup to keep their drive alive.
Throwing now, Wilson on first down. And that one drops down, incomplete. Good coverage there, forced the ball free, and it's second down.
When you run in the slant, timing is everything, and against that man coverage, there was no space available, and incompletion as a result.
Second and 10. Now it's Wilson. Finding his big receiver, Patrick, over the middle. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. 12 yards there as they keep this drive rolling. It's another first down.
And this is exactly the kind of drive you're hoping for out of the gates. They're mixing the run and the pass well, keeping this defense off balance early. And they're on the march here with another first down.
Now Wilson on first down. And that's to the left sideline and incomplete.
It certainly didn't appear that that's where he wanted to go with the ball initially, so he tried to get something out of it by dumping it off to his running back unsuccessfully.
Here's second and 10. Throwing is Wilson. Fighting to stay upright. And he is into the end zone for a Denver touchdown. Russell Wilson taking it in from 11 yards out. And the Broncos are an extra point away from evening this one up.
If you're going to play quarterback in the NFL, you've got to have great vision, and you've got to remain calm when things break down in the pocket. Both of those traits were on display there. He surveys the situation, sees the middle of the field open, so he's just going to step up and take it himself. Very well done there.
Brett Maher on for the extra point. It's up and good, and we're tied at 7 here in quarter number 2. So that one a pretty time-consuming 10-play drive. And it was Russell Wilson finishing things off with a touchdown run. Each team's had it. Each team has scored. 7-7 here as the kick's away. And from the end zone, Deontay Hardy will bring it out. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. So here come the Bills out for their second drive. So both of these teams, Charles, coming off touchdowns now, but this offense, they just had to stand on the sideline, watch their opponent author a really impressive drive to reach the end zone.
Yeah, and I think you're not telling yourself the truth if you don't think there's some one-upsmanship going on right now, because they just had their touchdown answered by a drive of double-digit plays that also found the end zone. Now they want to do something even more impressive to answer that one. Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. Now a 2nd and 10. Now a give, running left is Harris. And he'll wind up losing yardage here, back at the 21-yard line. 2 yards the loss, and now 3rd and 12.
Yeah, now it's a safety that came through and made the play, but there's no doubt in my mind, he hits like a linebacker, and we see a lot of that in today's NFL, don't we?
And that time we do indeed. A big hit for a loss. We've hit the 2-minute mark of the first half. All knotted up at 7. A reminder, coming up at halftime, while the two of us head for warmer areas of the press box, we'll be sending you to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have highlights and analysis of this first half. They need 12 here. It's 3rd down. They run again with Harris. And this will not get close to the first down marker as he's brought down at the 26. Now a timeout called for by the defense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. So now on 4th down, Sam Martin on to punt for Buffalo. He'll send this one into the mile-high air, and it's a good one. So holding there on the return, and that'll back him up to start the next drive.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy call right there, partner. I think when the officials look in their manual and see the expression, jersey getting pulled, that's a flag coming out every time.
Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Early down stuff's to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority 1.
Second and 9. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down. As his old brain remembers, when I see 5 wide receivers on the field as a defender, I know the ball's coming out hot. They expected it and got there and popped it free. After an incomplete pass on 2nd down, that'll leave him trying to convert on 3rd and 9. Wilson. Working the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. Now the Broncos going to use the 2nd of their timeouts, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Now it's Wilson. This pass caught by Hamler. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. Good yardage after the catch. Is that play good for 30 and a first? That's a real nice job right there. Working the middle of the field, working against those safeties. And you know, partner, if you get your hips turned the wrong way, big plays can result. And a big play resulted right there. So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Meanwhile, Wilson's throw taken in by Sutton. And he will have a first down here as they get into field goal range, down just shy of the 20.
But it appears that they read man defense and went to the out route, and what you have to do on that one is the receiver's got to make sure he works the defender towards the middle of the field to give himself space to cut to the outside and have that ball delivered with good timing, and they got it done.
He'll find Sutton on the right side, complete. And they'll burn the timeout with 5 seconds left. A chance to try to add 3 points before heading to the locker room. Now with 5 seconds left, not really enough time to run another play and then stop it. So on comes the field goal unit. From the right hash, and this one just a chippy. Marr able to put this one through. And they take the lead here now at 10-7. So they're able to end that drive with 3 points in this one-possession ball game.
And ideally, you want to end every drive with points. Most quarterbacks would tell you, let's end it with a kick, right? A PAT, that's number one. Field goal you'll take. Punts, you really don't want to do that. In this case, they'll take the field goal and get prepared for the rest of the game.
So still time for the kickoff here. 1 second to go in the half as this one is away. So we've hit halftime. Just a field goal separating these two teams at the break. As we send you on out to our studios in Orlando, here's Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. Back to you guys in a bit. But first, we welcome everyone to our EA Sports Halftime Report. The snow certainly making conditions difficult, and it's not likely to get better anytime soon. As we turn it right back over to Brandon and Charles.
Okay, Coach, yeah, adjustments likely going to play a big role in this third quarter in what's been a tight contest so far. Rocky Mountain snow looks like it's going to continue through this second half as we are back underway in Denver. This fielded right at the goal line. And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27. And the Broncos offense set to begin this third quarter. This offense set to begin the third quarter, and Charles, if they had a checklist of things they wanted to accomplish in the first half, certainly at the top of that list would be having the lead, and they've got that here.
That's always the most important box to check, isn't it? But also, they've had some success in their passing game, so probably an empty box establishing the run. They're on pace for fewer than 100 yards in this one, so now they want to make sure that they get that going so they truly have a control in this ball game, and down the stretch, being able to be balanced, either throw it or run it, and try and win this ball game.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. Off the draw, here's Williams. And they're able to get this one across the 35. A 10-yard pickup, and it's enough for a Broncos first down. They've got the lead early here in the third quarter, and runs like that are how they established that lead in the first half.
I love the fact that you're using the word lead because they are leading from the front, pounding on the defense right now with the running game, and truly establishing themselves here in the second half.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Now Wilson. Sutton reeling it in on the left side. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. It's a first down, his fourth catch of the game after having 3 in the first half.
To win any route, you've got to break down the defender, and that's exactly what happened here on this really nicely executed curl route.
So first and 10 now in Buffalo territory at the 48-yard line. From the gun, it's a run for Williams. And a pretty big hole as he's down to about the 40. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
Getting out a ton of success here so far, but you get the feeling that he might be on the verge of popping one.
Yeah, even on that one, there was a little bit of a hole, but it closed there quickly at the end. Ball on the 40 now. Here's 2nd down and 3. On the option to give to Williams here. And he's going to get this inside the 30. That one going for a gain of 11 and a Bronco first down.
We don't talk about it very often, but sometimes there's a dip in intensity when you start the second half, which can manifest itself in some sloppy tackling. And how about right there? He ran right through that weak tackle attempt.
On 1st and 10, it's Wilson. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Sutton. Call it a gain of 6 on the play, and it's 2nd down. Now Wilson. That's going to be caught by Judy. And Judy's going to have a Broncos first down as he's brought down at the 16. That one good for 7 as this long drive continues and the chains move again. So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10. Here's Wilson. He'll drop this down to Williams, and they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. So just 3 yards on the completion there, and that'll make it 2nd down.
Caught that look from you there, partner. I think we're on the same page on that one. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's the start of them trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the second half.
They'll come up 2nd and 7. There's Wilson to throw. Throw to the right, caught by Dulcich. So 5 yards here, 5 on the play. And now that sets up 3rd and 2.
Such a tough position to defend near the line, even when you add a second defender, but the big man shrugged off the extra body and made the play call a success.
They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. 3rd and 2, now Wilson. A pass for Sutton is intercepted. And the Bills are going to take over once again, and they'll have it at their own 8-yard line. So it was a drive that had real promise here to begin the 3rd quarter, but ultimately derailed by the INT.
And that was the position you wanted to be in, coming out to start this 3rd quarter, get a nice drive going, looking for the end zone. Possibly got a little bit too greedy right there.
So here's the Bills offense now. They get ready for their first possession of the second half. They got the ball now following a big play, keeping the other guys out of the end zone. Now they'll start deep in their own territory, 1st and 10. Harris starts the drive on the ground. And he fights forward for a modest 2-yard gain, 2nd down.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
So they fake the handoff. Now Allen. And he will will slide to a stop. He does have the first down. So the scoring dried up here in the third. Nothing that quarter for either side. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Allen now on first down. Little pitch and catch to the tight end, Knox. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets this football out shy of the 30 to the 29. 10 yards, good enough for a Buffalo first down.
And here we are in the fourth quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there. Not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
They run the option here on 1st and 10. And he probably should have given that one off as he's going to get hit and taken down behind the line. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. Not a lot of success to be found there.
Oh, you got that right, partner, because if you're trying to make guys miss about 10 yards or so downfield, that's a pretty good play. But if you got to do it in your own backfield, I consider that a problem. That doesn't work too well.
So the first down run lost a couple. Now they come up 2nd and 12. They hand this off to Harris. And he'll be tackled at about the 35. 50 yards rushing for him now to this point.
But you got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
As big of a play as we've had in this one so far. This is 3rd and 3. Allen steps away. And he's going to be a yard short. Needed 4, but got 3.
And, partner, I would guess that in his headset he was hearing from his coach, it's 3rd down, don't take a sack. And in this case, he's able to avoid the pressure and get out of there. He doesn't get the first down, but he does turn a possible loss into positive yardage.
Here's Sam Martin now. And surprisingly, this is the first punt of the game for either team. A pretty good punt there, but also a nice return of 12 yards. And the Broncos take over, first down and 10. And the football going back over to the Denver Broncos. Their defense got the stop, forced the punt, and now you really start to monitor the clock as they nurse this slim lead. They'll try and run down some clock with Williams. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. And a 6-yard gain gets him right around the 43. 3 points separating these two sides with 2 minutes left to go in the fourth. So it's Bronco football as we get you reset here. They're facing a critical 3rd down now as they try to hold on to this lead. So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. On 3rd down, here's Williams. And he brings this up to the 46. Good enough for the first. And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it right out of the break with 1:57 to go in the ballgame. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They'll fake the jet sweep and instead give up the middle to Williams. Now the Bills will use the second of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just one remaining in this fourth quarter of play. Second and 12, and you'd have to assume another all-out effort to stop the run is coming. Off the option, here's Williams. And he'll take it across midfield and into Buffalo territory. The Bills are going to go ahead and use their final timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the first. They'll try and pick it up by running the option to the right. And he is going to have the Broncos first, and that should be the capper. So that was all you're looking for on a play like that. Get the first down and keep the drive moving.
Yeah, it just looked to me like he just said to himself, I've got this. I'll take it. I'll pick it up, and let's keep moving. Get the first down, get a new set, and let's start over.
The win for the Broncos seemingly assured. They go down to a knee. Down to a knee one more time, and that should just about do it.
I don't know about you, partner, but watching them take the knee there and finish this one off, I feel like I'm going to be sore tomorrow. This was one bruising affair. Low scoring, but my kind of football.
Not a work of art, but maybe in your world, a little bit of a work of art. You like the defensive side.
I thought it was pretty. I can't help myself. I thought it was pretty.
And it ends in a kneel down as the clock rolls down to zeros.
Well, obviously, Charles, this was by no means an offensive track meet. I mean, the defenses were the story in this ball game. But, hey, they got enough points to get the job done. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
You're absolutely right about that, partner. In such a low-scoring game, it completely changes everything you had planned to do out there. Fortunately for them, they got just enough scoring to bring home the win. And in this type of a game, the play of their defense, that became one of their biggest keys.
So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. The Broncos are winners as we say so long from Denver.